Welcome to Kings of Kimuras, your one-stop podcast for everything from mats to the stars. Join us as we dive into the heart of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, explore the thrills of MMA, and groove to the beats of music. But that's not all. We're also venturing into the unknown, discussing aliens and the mysteries of the cosmos. And of course, we'll be shooting the breeze, sharing stories, and laughs along the way. Get ready for a wild ride from a universe of topics. Strap in and prepare to explore the world of BJJ, MMA, music, aliens, and more. Let's roll.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Kings of Kimura podcast. I know this episode is taking a little bit longer to get out, and I want to kind of talk about that first, of why it has taken so long. First, we filmed the first half of this while we were in Las Vegas for trials. After all the guys and girls had competed on day one. And then we planned to film the next day, but things were just crazy. It was an amazing experience, so we decided to hold off until we got back. Then as soon as we got back, we started the build out of our second location in downtown Plano. So things just haven't worked out the way that we wanted them to, but here we are. We filmed both parts of this episode. It's a Thursday afternoon. We just had our first training session at our downtown Plano spot. Great turnout, 19 people showed up. Pretty cool for last minute, in my opinion. But we'll have our next episode filmed tomorrow. We'll be back on our regular schedule. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I just want to say thank you guys for continually tuning in, leaving those reviews. Make sure you like and subscribe on all platforms that were released, and enjoy, guys.
All right, guys, welcome to Kings of Kimura. This episode is being filmed in Las Vegas. We have the crew here that competed at ADCC today, and everybody did really well, but like you did exceptionally well. You know, you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. So 3 matches so far, 3 wins, 2 by submission. My first match, I think I finished the match in like 48 seconds, something like that. Second match, I was kind of trying to get more of like, because when you finish a fight that quick, you don't really get a good sweat in. So I definitely wanted to work a little bit more like my passing game and stuff. So I did that in my second match and won on points. I think it was like 12 or 13-0.
Yeah.
And then in my third match, I actually fought Bill Cooper, Bill the Grill. He's still out there competing, and ended up finishing that match with an armbar as well. Shout out to Bill and Jeff. They're really cool after the match. I know Bill is somebody who's been in the sport like a super long time. So when I saw his name on there, I was pretty hyped for that match. But
yeah, we were talking about that earlier, how he was a guy that kind of did a lot of those grapplers quests, and then we, went online and kind of looked at some of the guys that he had beaten throughout the years, and some of the names are like, pretty well known. I mean,
huge names, like people who are multiple time world champions, gi and no gi. So definitely a legend for sure. And it's awesome that somebody like that is still competing now, But yeah, tomorrow's war, day 2 ADCC trials. That's the real meat grinder. So
there's 2 matches to a medal match, right? You got to win 2, and then the third match would be to either send you to the finals or to put you in the third place.
Yep.
Right,
so
right?
it goes like round of 32, round of 16, quarterfinals, and then semifinals.
Yeah.
So I think that's 3 matches to get into the semifinals. So it's a meat grinder. It's a meat grinder for a tournament, but I've been working for it, so I'm ready. I'm as ready as ever.
That's good, man. Yeah, you definitely put on a show today and performed very well. And like there were some tough matches. I mean, I feel like your first match always is like pretty quick. You know, like most of your first rounds are either like your first time at trials, you got finished quick, but then every time after that, you've like finished the other person fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a good way to approach competing too, especially for your first match. You know, nobody wants to be in there for like the full time limit. So
That's very true.
If you can come in with a really good warm up and then go in there and attack the person, kind of overwhelm them. You know, a lot of people in their first round just don't get a warm up for whatever reason. But it's so important to do that. You know?
Yeah, well, I was warming up with Steven, got a really good sweat going. You know, it's a good sweat when you start kind of like smelling a little bit. So I also use that to my advantage. Yeah. But yeah, definitely getting a good warm up in was crucial. For that first match, I felt really sharp. And yeah, I ended up finishing with that high risk guillotine that I actually showed at the seminar that we had. That's something I've been working on a lot is my front headlock, because I know for this rule set, the front headlock, the 4-point, the turtle are all extremely important positions to be efficient in, both offensive and defensive. So definitely worked a lot of that, and it paid off today for sure.
What do you think the guy in the second match was trying to do to you when he was like talking to you? Was that second or third match?
Yeah, that was the second match. Yeah.
I mean, it's like a weird thing when the person like makes it a point to come up and try to communicate with you and get you out of your game. I feel like, you know.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like to lighten the tension, I guess. But like, I'm so comfortable there that the guy could come over and start like doing cartwheels and stuff. I don't really like, I'm in my zone, you know, I'm not really worried about what this guy is saying or doing really.
Yeah. It would just be like somebody at the gym coming up and talking shit to you. You know, like like we were talking earlier, like, I'm going to tap you before I'm 21. You know, that's a very similar situation to what happens when somebody wants to small talk you on the mat.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, all right, dude, he's trying to kind of like talk me down. Too bad. I'm in my zone anyway. You're not talking me down. But yeah, that match I was just kind of trying to work my passing game, like work my pressure. That's definitely something that, especially again in this rule set, I feel like is very important to wear somebody down from the top position like over time. And I feel like I accomplished that perfectly.
You know, something that I've noticed a lot about this tournament and, you know, just watching so many matches over the years is that if you can come out in the first half when it's not points and overwhelm the person with stand up, let's say if they do, because a lot of people will stand, you know, many people will sit, but a lot of people will stand up and they're just not ready to be overwhelmed on the feet.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
They're looking for some like slight hand fighting, you know, let's get warmed up a little bit.
Right. They don't expect the lefty slide by, the lefty slider. They don't. Yeah, I mean, and especially with moves like the slide by, like the throw by from the underhook, they're just very quick movements that can get you around like that. It was the second match. I went for like a 2-on-1. And then the dude posted on my neck, and right away I just elbow passed and got back exposure from standing. And like little things like that are, I feel like, extremely underutilized in jiu-jitsu. I don't see a lot of people like really working. I see some people with like some good slide bys and throw bys and stuff like that, but for the most part, I feel like that's not a big part of most people's game. But it's so, because it gets you immediate back exposure from standing. So then you just, all right. In my case, a lot of the time I just jump on the back because I'm just I just see red and I just go for it. But you can take your time and get them to the mat. You can break them down to a hip, but right away you can go from standing to on their back. So that's why I love that lefty slide by. And I know people's left collar tie is always shittier than their right collar tie because the little wrestling that jiu-jitsu gyms do, where are they starting? From tied up. Usually righty to righty. So when I get in with that left-hand collar tie and they have to go with their left, it's perfect for the slide by because it's not as tight as maybe their right collar tie.
Yeah,
so.
No, that makes a lot of sense for sure. You know, always like catching somebody off guard with something like that.
Yeah.
Who were some of the matches that you saw today that were like a standout to you?
Yeah, I wasn't really watching too many matches, besides maybe the ones that Flo had posted highlights of.
Yeah.
I was really just dialed in. I was focused on my matches more than any. But, I mean, everywhere you looked on those mats, you know, even if it was two guys you never heard of, they're going out there and scrapping.
Yeah.
You know, they were really going after it. So, and that's the kind of environment that Trials kind of like has, you know.
Yeah, there's not too many other tournaments that I can think about that the action is that immense on each mat, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I think guys are just way more willing to go for it, you know, because yesterday, I mean, I saw so many people sucked down. They just looked dry like skeletons, you know. And when you put that much sacrifice into just one aspect, like you're not even guaranteed to win, but these people are going out there and like cutting all this weight. So when it comes to that, I think people are way more willing to like really go after it because they had to cut weight and they had to come and fly to Vegas. You know, they're not going out without a fight. So
Sure. Yeah, and we were talking earlier about the energy of West Coast always seems to be more, I don't know what more intense maybe than the East Coast does. You know?
I don't know. It's like one of those things where maybe it was just the venue where East Coast was. It was kind of more cramped than the West Coast venue. The West Coast venue is awesome for this year, and there's like a lot of open space. There's bathrooms like inside of the actual venue itself, so it's really cool. We had set the puzzle mats up on the side so we could get a warm up, so we didn't have to use the warm up mats over.
You know, it's just like every tournament I've ever been to, let's say IBJJF, because that's like outside of ADCC, that's the biggest one. It's always like some bathroom that's like disgusting, you know? And there's like never enough bathroom space for the amount of people, and the concessions are horrible. Not that we like eat any of that stuff, but you know, at least here they're having like a casino hotel where, you know, it's a lot of stuff is accessible.
Yeah,
you know, IBJJF
sure.
will have it, and they'll call it Dallas, but then they'll have it like a 30-minute drive or 40-minute drive away.
Yeah,
and there's no hotels around it.
Yeah, no, it's just terrible. Yeah, no, but they killed it for West Coast this year. It's been awesome so far. I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm super hype.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this Elder Cruz and Cameron Couch matchup.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
shouts out to Cameron Couch.
This is really underestimated match here because Cameron has some really funky wrestling, you know, and he does well when guys want to engage on the feet. And the guys that he's training with are like giant Tongan wrestlers. You know, there's one dude that is like he's some type of NCAA champion. I don't know exactly what he won, but in wrestling, he teaches at one of the Moeller gyms.
Is it Jamal Parks? Is it that guy?
He's there, but it's another guy.
Okay.
I can't remember what the guy's name is, but you know, he's training with bigger guys all the time, and he's definitely dropped down quite a bit. I think that there's a good chance he could take that match, man.
I think so. I mean, if he can just not get taken down, if like when points hit, I think he has a good shot. Yeah. I'm excited to see that match though, for sure. Come on, Cameron, let's take one for the Texas team here.
Well, whoever wins that match will fight the winner of Rocha and Crump, and I feel like Rocha will probably take that, but then again, Crump is like one of these guys is very
he's tough,
cagey, right? He's like he's going to be hard to finish, and I think maybe the Achilles heel is his strength.
Yeah. No pun intended there.
But then you got Abe versus Sloan.
Ooh, that's a good matchup right there.
You know, I know that we've trained. Did you train with Sloan whenever he came?
Yeah,
through?
I did.
Like,
I did.
Freakishly like strong guy, you know.
For sure, his squeeze is pretty insane. He's got a very tight squeeze.
Yeah, I don't know about his like submission offense other than like the squeezes and positional controls, which is solid, you know. But Abe is like he's pretty crafty too. I just don't know if he's as strong, you know. And that might be what this match comes down to, right? It's like strength.
Sloan better have been doing a lot of reverse close guard defense and escape because Abe's going to shoot into it for sure.
Yeah. And then you got on the other side of the bracket, you've got Tackett and Shaggy going against each other. That's that's one of those like classic matchups of like a guy that we were saying like a slow starter versus a guy that like comes out of the gate firing.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Shaggy historically has done, like he had a match with Andrew. Andrew just kind of overwhelmed his guard and was going side to side, but man, Shaggy looks big. He looks strong. Yeah. He looks very sharp on his finishes. Like, I watched a couple of his matches at Dallas, the Dallas Open, and he was like getting some really tight leg locks on these guys. So I know that William, he lost to Shasinski, like a guy who's very good at like ankle lock into heel hook. That kind of playing that back and forth, and that's something that Shaggy's like extremely good at too. So I think if Shaggy really is on his game, I think he could like potentially ankle lock or outside heel hook. Like
I would imagine Tackett had to have fought somebody the last time he won trials that was good at leg locks too, right? I mean, he won the East Coast.
He won West Coast.
Okay, but he like medaled at the East Coast. Right?
Yeah, he was in the finals against Cade, and then so he lost to Cade, and then he beat Andy Varela in the finals of West Coast.
So he's probably fought some guys. I don't know about similar size and strength wise, but Shaggy's pretty sneaky on the leg lock. So there's a good chance either one of those guys could take it. I feel like if it goes into overtime, it's probably going to be Tackett. If it's in regulation, it'll either be points for Tackett or submission for Shaggy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting times though, man. Like I know Austin is usually talked about as like the hub for jiu-jitsu, but man, don't sleep on Dallas. Yeah. Dallas, we're out here to play too.
Yeah, the 88 is really stacked, man. There's like a lot of good matches in there.
Yeah, I've seen Mo walking around with the minus 88 gold medal around his neck. That's the one he's wearing. Yeah. He's probably going to hand give it to the person who wins minus 88 because it's just so incredibly stacked.
Yeah. So when you win your first match here, you're going to next fight Taza, which I feel like is a good matchup for you, man. He's one of these guys that continues to push the pace, and you're like, you kind of excel off of that. When a guy pushes, you like push back even harder. So
for sure.
All the work that you've been doing with John lately too is like definitely paying off for you.
Yeah, I can tell like from a physical perspective that I've definitely made some good gains working with him, and also just like nasal breathing. I took one of Roy's nasal strips and I had that on, and it helped me stay in the zone. And it was just one breath at a time. And before I knew it, the 3 matches were done. And, like, tomorrow's going to come, and I'm going to do the same thing. Like, just focus on breathing through my nose and, like, staying in the moment. Yeah. That's how I'm going to beat this guy, Like, I think sometimes, like, I had that match with Thor at the Dallas Open, and I kind of, like, you can even see it on Flow. I'm, like, kind of looking over at him, like, almost looking, like, starstruck out here, just not being in the moment. And that's something that I really learned in that match specifically because I was like, man, I need to just like stop getting into this like deer in the headlights kind of thing. Like I deserve to be out here with these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just like a mental thing for me. But man, today I was feeling super dialed. So just do that same thing tomorrow and anything can happen. Anything.
Yeah. Right before you stepped on the mat to fight Bill, I was like, this dude's like anybody else. He can get it like anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's definitely important to remember that. Nobody is like some superstar that like is going to make a difference. What
absolutely.
he's done outside of this is not going to affect what happens in this match.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that like being in the moment just helps me with. Like, dude, this is the moment now. Like, doesn't matter if Taza's won all these matches. Doesn't matter about the matches you've won. Yeah. It's about right now in this moment. So, yeah, get past that first match tomorrow, and then we'll probably have him next. So I'm very excited.
Good,
I'm itching.
Yeah, everybody on the team did well. Everybody went out in the first round, right?
Yeah.
So, it's just tough, man. The trials are like one of the hardest things that you'll ever do. I feel like as a jiu-jitsu competitor, because you're not even a black belt yet, and you're able to compete in this division with people that are black belts or multiple year black belts, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so you may have a lot of success as like a blue belt, purple belt, in an event that only allows those belts to compete against each other. And then when you come and do something, you're like this and you lose, it can be disappointing, but you have to put that into perspective that, like this is just more experience, and, you're competing at a much higher level than you ever have before.
Yeah, this is like the NCAA tournament, like for jiu-jitsu, everybody from all around the country, people you've never heard of, people who are super tough, but again, that you just never heard of, or they compete outside of your kind of like circuit. Anybody can come in there and do well, know? So like, I know not a lot of people know me, like some well-known people in the community know who I am, but I think after tomorrow, people are going to figure it out.
Sure. Yeah.
They're going to understand.
And like you're saying, these are people competing outside of your pool. There's guys that are professional MMA fighters. There's guys that are professional, or not professional, but like maybe college level wrestlers, or even dudes that have been to the Olympics for wrestling or for judo. Like there's high level guys from all these different grappling martial arts that come in here to do this event.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's good for the team. I think it's like been the first trials for pretty much everybody, right? Yeah. So, I know my first trials. I went out in the first round as well, so I definitely know how it feels. That stinging feeling, like, man, do I even know what I'm doing? Like, all these doubts start to cross your mind, but then you go back home and you start to just get to work on the things that you messed up. That's it. And
and much like these guys, your first one was the West Coast. And I feel like, man, just getting that extra trials in, even if you don't win on the East Coast, or maybe you don't perform well, it's like you need that.
For sure. That's why a lot of those, well, not a lot, but some guys from the United States will go and get a passport somewhere else so they can do more trials. Like, you might not win this trials, but the more you do, the more experience you have, the more likely you are to succeed,
right.
Especially with the rule set. The rule set is very, I'd say, like, unforgiving. It's forgiving in some ways, I guess, like with the turtle and the scramble rules, but it's a tough rule set to kind of like digest. Like you can make a mistake and then all of a sudden be down on points. When that points period hits, so. Definitely have to mind your P's and Q's with the ADCC rules. Yeah,
and you can do the opens, but the opens are only like they're almost like a half speed of what the trials are,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because, everybody, for the most part, at those trials, had, like, cut weight, and it's just more serious, I feel like.
Less
it's just
weight classes.
Right. So you got to go out there and just give it what you got. With those opens, I feel like, obviously, there's in those advanced brackets, tough guys, super tough guys. But it's kind of spread out, because you got minus 76, then you got minus 83, and minus 91. So, like, just between those three, the talent pool definitely gets split up a lot.
Yeah.
But, the trials is just something totally different, man. Like, the opens are awesome, but it's kind of like just a taste of what the trials are.
Yeah.
And I think that's good for first... for the first trials being West Coast, like that's really good for the rest of the squad for sure.
Yeah, and then the next time they go back and they'll do the East Coast, they'll, I think they'll perform much better, because it's just one of those things, man. Every time that you go back and you do it, you get a little bit better and, more proficient, understand it better. And
right. And you put a lot of time and effort into it. And when you don't get the desired result, it just makes you that much hungrier to go back in and fix those mistakes.
Yeah.
And then the next person you go against is going to get it.
Yeah. Well, man, I guess we'll wrap it up for tonight. And then we'll talk tomorrow after the end of trials.
After those big dubs. Yeah. Let's go.
All right, guys. Stay tuned. All right, guys. Welcome to another episode of Kings of Kimura. Actually, this is the second part of an episode the first part of it was filmed in Vegas after day one of ADCC West Coast trials, and we just never got around to it. It's been crazy busy since then. So
For sure.
welcome back, guys.
Welcome back. Yo, day 2 was amazing. My first match on day 2 was against a guy from Pedigo, and he was trying to attack my legs a lot. But I had it in my mind that second day I was like, I'm not gonna get submitted with a leg lock. Like, if guys get deep on my legs, I'm not getting submitted. I'm gonna escape. So guys were getting real deep on my legs, and I just kept escaping, and I ended up catching him with a knee bar. And then I fought Taza in my second match. It was a really tight match. I feel like I was kind of like in the driver's seat for a lot of the match. And then when the points hit, I was on the bottom. And he ended up passing my guard with about a minute left. Double underhooks, past the side control. I ended up recovering my guard and getting a sweep back from like 50-50. But the match ended 3-2. Obviously a pretty disappointing way to go out. Going out by 1 point to the number 1 seed is still pretty good. I mean, it's better than like a lot of people did against Taza. He was submitting a lot of people on day 1 and on day 2. So, I was still pretty happy with my performance. I think it's just momentum. Right? Like,
Sure.
That's all I need is that momentum.
Yeah, and this is only your third trials. You've done like East Coast one time and West Coast twice. And like already in your third time, you're making it into the round of 16, like very close to make it to the 8.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like one point you would have tied up, gone to overtime, and like forced the wrestling. That's pretty impressive, man. Taza is like a guy that's been around, and we were talking about this the other day. It's probably like the guy, if you looked at his record, he has more trials wins than anybody else because of how many that he does. I think he typically does like 6 trials, right? Or is it 4 or 6?
It's like 4 or something like that, because he'll do both European trials and then both of the North American trials. So, he's a super experienced guy. I mean, he's obviously been doing this for much longer than I've been doing trials. Like, he's probably got well over like double the amount of trials, like in just the past 2 like ADCC cycles.
Right.
He's probably done like 8 trials, and since this is only my third one, I definitely learned a lot, especially about like the rules and like some strategy things from that match. So in June there's a ADCC Dallas Open here, so definitely want to get in there and work some of that new stuff.
There's a lot of controversy over that scoring of the 2 with Adam Bradley and Pixley. And the longer that time has gone on, I've watched more matches, I kind of understand it a little bit more. But it's still pretty crazy that like a guy can end up on the bottom position and all he has to do is like keep moving to not score the points. There are some inconsistencies in that, that I think there's a lady on Instagram that like did a breakdown of like, what is 2 points. Like some guys were getting it super quick and some guys were getting it not at all.
Right.
But I feel like if you really want to score a sweep in that rule set, half guard, you put the person in half guard and you focus on pinning their back to the mat. Right?
Yep, absolutely. And I think that's something that the new wave guys have been preaching. I mean, that's how Taza, passed my guard.
Sure.
He flattened me from half guard and then just passed from there. Gordon does it. I've seen Big Dan do it, Luke Griffith. So all those guys, they for that rule set, they obviously know, like, okay, this is a better strategy. You go into half guard, or as soon as points hit, like if you're in a dominant position when points hit, let's say mount or something, you just rewind back to half guard, and then you pass from there, and you score a bunch of points because you potentially go side control, knee on belly, and then to mount. So you could just keep scoring like as many points as you want.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think you've got to really focus on having that pin before your pass happens, right? Because we saw a lot of guys that would have an underhook or crossface, and they would start passing, and the guy would get on his side, and that kind of negates some of that, potential pinning that would happen in order to score those points.
Yeah, absolutely. And things like double unders, near side underhook. The crossface and the underhook seems to be one that's there's like a little more wiggle room in. It's still really tight if you can get it. But But I think, yeah, a lot of people, they just focus on squeezing the head and arms super tight as opposed to where their head's positioned, where their body weight is. So that allows the person to like turn just enough to not get pinned from that spot. But like double underhooks, like when Taza got those double unders on me, I felt like I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I
it's
was
really
like,
hard.
like, shit, my shoulders are on the mat. I got to try to make something happen. So I knew he was going to make a move for the pass. So when he did, I tried to like turn to my side and like turn in, but he had me pretty well pinned. So
Yeah, and if you try to reverse that position with the double unders, let's say he mounts you with double unders or something, you know, a lot of times there has to be a big motion of like lifting one elbow higher, and then that almost always kills your momentum.
yeah, for sure.
It's one of the tougher positions to recover from, I think, like no matter where you're at, you know.
Yeah, most definitely.
So day 2 was pretty exciting, you know. The event together was like pretty crazy, you know, like it's you and I have traveled like quite a few times where it's just us, or Susan is with us. But now we're like getting to the point where there's more and more people that are wanting to do these and travel, and it makes it definitely a lot more fun, especially in the house, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about Roy a little bit. He had a pretty wild experience, you know, like on day 1, he ended up going out. Like he fought hard, and there was some point in the match where the guy's like knee kind of buckled, hyperextended, and Roy took a shot on the guy, and he ended up losing, getting on the bottom position. But the next day, or maybe that night, I don't know, they were like calling and trying to get in touch with somebody from our gym. And I heard about it from Tahila first. You know, she was like, hey, they're trying to get to Roy. And so then I hear them over the intercoms, and I go to the front desk, and Sean with 5 Grappling told me that his guy that he fought the day before had gotten injured, and they wanted him to step in. Well,
Let's go.
Yeah, he didn't have anything with him. And when I called Roy, he was in the bathroom. You know, I could hear the bathroom. And so we told him, we're like, okay, we'll buy you some rash guard, shorts, some underwear, compression underwear, just to get out there and compete. And I feel like he had less pressure on him. You know, he was definitely nervous. I mean, he did like everything you could do wrong before, like ate a huge breakfast, like stayed up all night.
Yeah.
You know, like
He thought it was over. He thought it was game over for him. But I think it ended up working to his advantage, because he went out there with like no pressure on him. And it's like, well, you weren't supposed to be here anyway, so you might as well just go out there and like let it fly, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like we learned a lesson that if you go out in the final round of day 1, that day 2, when you show up, you need to go ahead and bring gear, and you need to treat that night before like you're competing the next day.
Right. Let them tell you that you're not, or like let the tournament play out. Because I mean, I feel like at the higher weight classes that was more common, because Boogie had to pull out as well, right? He won his first match on the first day, and then he had to pull out because his knee was injured. So, you know, I feel like if my knee got injured pretty bad, I'd be like, you know what? I think I'm going to just pull out anyway, because it's just not. Yes, it is trials, and if you win, you punch your ticket to ADCC. Like, that's great. But also, you're going to probably end up taking some damage on that knee. Like, even if they don't end up attacking it, you're still moving. You're still, like, trying to work your game. Like, you're going to end up taking some more damage.
I think you would have to injure yourself in the match right before the finals. You know, that would be the only time I'd be like, man, you should probably do this, you know, because let's say you injure your knee early on in that tournament, it doesn't get easier the longer you go.
Right,
you know?
and
it's so
just harder and harder.
Like you kind of almost have to make that call of like, you know, how much damage am I willing to take?
For sure, yeah. Like maybe the match right before the finals.
Yeah.
But you know, even still, it's like, is it really worth it to go out there and try and like beat this guy who's really, you know, if he's in the trials final, you're probably facing Andrew Tackett or Taza or like Max Hansen or who else was at 77? Who did Tackett beat in the semifinals?
Andy Varela.
Oh yeah, it's like Andy. Bro, you're gonna go up against a hammer, so you might as well just be like, you know what, that's okay, I'm good.
Yeah, and there's still like a lot of matches I haven't watched from trials, so I'm I have plans to go back and watch them, but there was like so many good matches, man. It's hard to like keep up with all that stuff.
Yeah, I watched like the supercut of William and Andrew's run.
Yeah.
And Andrew fought this guy, Dory. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm sorry. But this guy, Dory, is like, he fights at IBJJF like super heavy or like
I know what you're talking about,
heavyweight
yeah.
or something. The guy's huge. And I was like, wait a minute. This guy made 77? That's crazy.
Yeah, he was pretty big.
I thought I was big for 77 because after the weigh-ins, the next day I was like 185, and I had made 169 the previous day.
Yeah.
And I thought I was like probably one of the bigger ones in that weight. But then I saw this guy, I was like, what?
Yeah, he was
this
really
guy's
big for
got to
that
be
weight.
like 200 pounds right now, or
Yeah.
like 190. He was looking gigantic out there.
Yeah, so trials have finished up, right? I mean, do we have any more?
I think that's it, man.
There's a couple of like invites, I think, for like minus 99
Yeah.
that they're looking at, but we don't have like anything. Everything is not set yet, right?
Yeah, they're still probably trying to like figure out. Or I mean, I think Mo said that like the last day or like the last call for athletes was like last week sometime, because he was talking about Craig. He was talking about like how Craig is not doing it, and to be fair, I mean, Craig made a good point in his video. Like, he doesn't have to do it. He can make that 10K that he would make winning ADCC elsewhere. He's doing seminars, traveling. Like, he doesn't have to go out there and try to like prove anything to anybody. Like he said, it'd be just kind of for like his own ego.
Sure.
Like, oh, look at me, I won ADCC. But at the end of the day, like, his brand is kind of like transcended that.
Yeah.
Like, how many people know B Team but probably don't know like ADCC?
Right.
Like, they see the YouTube content and they see B Team and they don't really know what ADCC is, but they know what B Team is.
Right.
They know who Craig is. So
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of like blown up, and they're, even their views and stuff on their videos are higher than like Flow Grappling, like I feel like, for the longest, like Flow is kind of like a gatekeeper. They really only promote the businesses that they want to promote and the teams that they want to promote. And, while I understand that, there's like money behind those guys, to the rest of the people that are like actually putting in work, it can be a little like frustrating, So
Yeah.
I think that's the exact reason why B Team stopped allowing Flow to come in and film stuff, and they're filming their own content and putting it out there and pushing it themselves. You almost like kind of like what we're doing here, right? You have to start doing something yourself. You can't expect these companies that, are only going to support one or two other teams to support everybody.
yeah, very true. And like Craig was even saying, when they get these invites to these who's number one, Flow's only really willing to pay for like their hotel or something. Like, they're not like accommodating their athletes. And that's something that with the karate combat that Craig's really trying to push and pedal is like, hey, if you come and compete for us, we will take care of you. Like, we focus on the athletes. We'll make sure you guys are in a nice, quote unquote, nice hotel. Like, we'll accommodate you, blah, blah, blah. So come and compete for us.
Yeah.
And, even still, you're going to make money teaching in jiu-jitsu. It's not going to come from competing most of the time.
Yeah.
But now that some like AIGA, Karate Combat, PGF, now they're actually starting to pay some real money out to these athletes.
Yeah.
So you're going to see more and more guys just become more professional. I know we've talked about that before, but, the more money that comes into the sport, the more professional it's going to get.
Yeah.
And the more cutthroat it's going to get as well.
Yeah, if you're a brand and you're making money off of a stream and all you can do is pay one hotel, then you don't need to be having events, in my opinion.
Right,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, you can't afford $100 for a guy to like have food for the day, like 3 meals, even if there's like $80 or $50, something that, like you're literally making money off of this person, whether they win or they lose. Right.
Right, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's
that's the frustrating part about this sport. You know, there's like a lot of promoters too that, you know, people don't make money. I mean, like IBJJF, if you're a black belt and you win Gi Worlds, what do you, I forget what you make, but it's like under $10,000.
Right. It's not.
But in order to get there, you've like hotel, rental car, or Uber, or food, you know, flight. I mean, people don't understand that black belt IBJJF, you have to make points to compete in the worlds, and that means competing at other events and placing in other events. So, you know, you're doing at least, I would say, minimum 10, 15 events a year just to make the points.
Yeah,
you know?
just to have enough points to compete at Worlds.
And
sure.
like a low estimate would say $1,000, you know?
Yeah, that's a very low.
That's you're sleeping in an Airbnb in somebody's guest bedroom, you know,
Yeah.
or you're crashing on a friend's couch. I mean, like most of these places are like $400 or $500 for a flight. And IBJJF is notorious for this, about like not letting you know what the schedule is for a major event until like a day before the event. So you have to buy your ticket, you know. Sometimes you got to buy like your ticket and your hotel for 4 days of staying there, and you're only there for 1 day, you know?
Right, yeah. And I think it's like a lot easier when there's a team, right? Because even if you get there early, you can like sort of stay and watch. But I know when I traveled for Gi Worlds when I was a purple belt, I basically had to get it for like 3 days because I didn't know if I was competing Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I ended up competing on Friday, so I ended up working out. But then I was there Saturday and Sunday just like pretty much doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like just in my hotel trying to kill time. So
yeah, it's I hope that at some point there's like a, you know, maybe with this PGF, there'll be some like legitimate money behind it, you know?
Definitely. And I know Aiga's paying out. They said people kind of like misread it, I think, because they said they're paying out $1 million total in prize money through like this year or next year or something like that. It might be this year. But people saw that and were like, oh, $1 million. Like somebody, like, no, not one person or one team is going to make $1 million, but like they're paying out $1 million total. And like, so people who win these events or these teams, they'll still get a good chunk of cash, but it's like $1 million total.
And Aiga is the one that's in like Kazakhstan or something, right?
Yeah.
You know, there was that other event, I forget what it was called, but it was like a Russian event.
It's like ADCC or something. No, that was in Abu Dhabi, right?
It was something else. I want to say it was like in that same, you know, part of the world there, like near Kazakhstan, but they were paying a lot of money, and all of a sudden they just like disappeared. I come to find out it was like Russian mafia money, you know, like getting washed through there. But
a little bit of money laundering
I heard
operation.
A crazy story about that spot over there. One of my friends, Milton Bastos, he got invited to go compete over there. I think he competed against Kyotera. And so they bring him there, and it's like these guys come from the event and to their hotel, and they go, hey, you guys want to go check out this hot spring? And they're like, yeah, sure. You know, so well, they get in the car and they take off driving, and it's like pitch black by the time they get to where they're going. It's like 2 hours away. You know, they thought it was like just down the road, and it's like him, Vinny Margules, and somebody else. Maybe Casino was with them. I think I could be wrong, but then the guys are like, okay, we're here. Now we got to walk through the woods. Well, they're all wearing like sandals and shorts, and these dudes are wearing like boots and jeans. And they take off walking through the woods, and like it's dark. You know, they're using like iPhones to walk, and the whole time they're thinking like, are these guys going to like kill us, or what is going on? So they get out there and they see this like a metal shed, you know, like a 8x8 metal shed, and there's like a pipe coming down the side of this mountain, and it's the hot water coming out of the spring. Well, they open up the door, and he said there was like two old dudes, like an iPhone with the light up in the corner, and they're just sitting there completely naked in this hot tub, you know?
Oh my God. You think hot springs, you're like, man, there's going to be like a bunch of areas.
Yeah,
it's like, nah, man.
And so I go, well, what did you guys do? And he's like, well, I mean, we got in it, you know? And, but the thing was like, it wasn't concrete or anything. It was all mud. and they couldn't see that, because it's dark. And so they sat in there, and they're like all sitting side by side, like crammed in, it's like now there's like 7 people in this little bitty room. And he said whenever they got out, they didn't have any towels or anything, so they like walked back to the car. And when they get to the hotel, and they were staying in some like really nice hotel, and they come inside, and it's like white marble floors and stuff, and they're just covered in mud, like head to toe. And they like come back in tracking mud everywhere. I go, dude, I would never go to.
Yeah,
you're not getting me in hot springs in Kazakhstan or whatever.
Nah,
the hell
man,
it
I'm
was.
good, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just stay here in my nice hotel with white marble floor. I'm not going out there.
And to hear him tell it, he was like, the way they made it seem, it was like 15 minutes away, but like as they're driving, the sun's setting,
Yeah, guys, how far away is this?
It's probably like some Chernobyl water.
Yeah, radioactive
heated up.
water we're swimming in. Dude, that's crazy. Yeah, I would like, when you said hot springs, I'm like, oh, we're going to, you think of like a spring in like Europe somewhere where there's like there's like a big open area with a bunch of different springs. No, just a metal like a tub inside of this metal shed.
Yeah. And like you wonder if those old dudes, what they were like hanging out there for. I mean, like it was dark. So
how did they even know it was there?
Yeah. I mean, they're probably locals,
We come here all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got ADCC Dallas. We touched on that briefly coming up. I'm really hoping that we'll have like a good amount of people compete. And even more than that, like I'd like to see like almost everybody from the gym there to support,
That'd be awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, really it's just about going out there and making a statement, I think, because we've got good guys. You know, now that we've had some people compete at trials, they've got that bug. Mm-hmm. They want to do well at these tournaments. They want to, learn more about the rules, compete more in the rule set, compete more at these events. So, I think we could do extremely well. I think we could definitely place like within the top teams at that tournament.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we've got, like you said, there's a lot of people that have done those tournaments and done trials now, and I feel like once you do that first trial, you experience that first trial, you kind of like get hooked. If you've already been competing and then you do this event, you're like, oh man, that was like bigger than anything I've ever done before.
Yeah, the intensity's unmatched too. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think the Dallas Open is going to be a lot of fun. I know I had a lot of fun at the last Dallas Open.
Yeah.
Had a good performance, like won a bunch of matches. So, and that's another good thing about these Opens is you get a lot of matches. You know, like you could potentially have up to like 7-8 matches. You know?
And it's, of course, like the first couple rounds are going to be against like people that are either lesser known or maybe like a lower skill level, but as you go, like you could fight. I mean, let's say you wanted to go in as a white belt, which I would not recommend, but if you want to do that, man, you could fight you'd be fighting like Michael Jordan of the sport, potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like somebody who, like Davis Cesare or
maybe like a Scottie Pippen of the sport. Jordan. Most of the Jordan guys are in there for the Worlds.
Yeah, for sure. You get like Rutolo in there and stuff. But I mean, even Cade did the Dallas Open. Yeah. Because I was like, why are these guys here? And it was because Cade was trying to get points to compete at Gi Pans, I think, or at Gi Worlds, maybe. Which respect to those guys because they go out there and they scrap in the gi, and people try to like stall and make it boring, but they just don't accept it.
Are they still brown belts or are they black belts?
They're black belts. Okay. Yeah.
I didn't remember them getting the black belt.
He fought Carlos Neto. Cade fought Carlos Neto.
Okay.
It's kind of, I mean, Carlos was, from what it looked like to me, it looked like he was doing the typical, all right, well, the guy's shooting on me, so I'm going to grab both of his collars and I'm going to walk straight out of bounds. Yeah. And then there's not going to be any penalty. Like, fucking boring. I'm falling asleep over here.
Yeah, I mean, IBJJF, I think, has some, like, potential to be great, man. And it used to be really good, but I feel like because there are so many rules that people game the system more in that event than a lot of other ones.
Definitely.
It's like it's kind of like knowing all the rules for the NFL. Like, good luck. knowing
Yeah,
that.
for
you know what I
real.
mean? Like, so it's a weird situation to go from competing in ADCC to IBJJF.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to like IBJJF, I'm just like, all right, it's just mat time, to be honest. I'm like, yeah, I'll go out and compete at the majors, like Nogi Pans, Nogi Worlds. But I know at the end of the day, it's ADCC is what I'm like focused on. So,
Sure.
It's just mat time. That's the reason I do any tournament, really. That's not ADCC. It was like just mat time.
Sure. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up for the day. Our time is up. We got the new gym opening up on the 30th of April, which is a Tuesday. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Come out and check us out. We're going to have some giveaways. We're going to have some opportunities for people to sign up at a discounted price as well. So if you're interested, make sure you come by the gym, downtown Plano, on April 30th. Thank you, guys.
And that's a wrap for today's Kings of Kimuras episode. Thanks for joining us on this epic journey. Remember to keep training, stay curious, and always be ready for the next adventure. Until next time, keep your guards up and your minds open.